Throughout human history, one thing has been a constant: crime. There are many types of crimes committed and many types of investigators who look into them. Criminals get very creative to stay ahead of the law. Find out crime doesn't pay. Join Jsson as he dissects various crimes, mysteries, and disappearances.
Crime Maze.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason, here again to talk about the IDAHO4 case. I go by ESTEY'S Crime Maze. That's right. This is a new channel, folks, and man, are you looking beautiful today, tonight, evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Sincerely. Again, everybody, if you enjoy my videos, I'm a new channel. This is about my third video on the IDAHO4, but I hope you may subscribe to my channel. Hopefully, give me the thumbs up, hit that like button if you enjoy my videos. Feel free to hit the bell icon, of course. Please do, so you can be notified for future videos. And feel free to leave me a comment. I read them. I appreciate the engagement, everyone. I got a real passion for this case because it is a fascinating and yet we know very tragic case, those of us that are familiar with it. But we want true justice, most of us. And most of us that have any reason, logic, common sense, really, and that refuse to be brainwashed, we understand that Brian Koberger is innocent. And today, my friends, I want to talk about the selfie. Brian Koberger, it's just been released, a few days ago. He has a selfie. And apparently he took the selfie of himself about 4 hours after the atrocity, give or take. And it looks like it's in his bathroom. Now, before we look at it, everyone, again, thank you for joining me. Welcome. I'm ESTEY'S Crime Maze, as I said earlier. I want to give a shout out to some amazing YouTubers again. Just a few of them. We'll list even more in the future. But I want to list a couple of them that I enjoy, that I think are doing amazing work. Some of them are doing real deep research and legitimate investigation into what the hell is really going on and who may or may not be responsible for these crimes, and showing you that it isn't Brian Koberger. I want to give a shout out again to the amazing Jay Embry. I believe he reads my comments, thankfully. It seems like he's responded to me before. The guy's channel's exploding in popularity. He's bringing so much awareness, thankfully, to this case. And Jay Embry, dude, I've asked you, please reach out to Joel from Surviving the Survivor. That's another really good YouTube channel. But they need to be educated. I think Joel could really use your expertise on your deep research and investigation of the truth on this case, Jay Embry. And by the way, if you can ever conglomerate with Joel on Surviving the Survivor is also a huge channel, Jay. And I think Joel will really like working with you if you guys talk amongst each other about doing a live together, right? And you can, again, I think your lives would go viral potentially and just help thousands and thousands of more people understand what's going on and help ultimately free Brian Koberger, you know? So here we go, my friends. And I want to give a quick shout out to Thou Shall Not Kill, True Crime. He's doing awesome work with his numerous guests that he likes to conglomerate with. I'm one of them that's reaching out to him. I think his name is Corey. He's Puerto Rican, and I hope I got his name right. I hope you'll invite me on your live, Corey. I hope I didn't butcher your name, and I'd love to do a live with you. I think I could make some positive contributions. Hopefully you could tell by my videos, and I got a real passion, as you do and your guests, for the IDAHO4 case. And again, it's all about, having a real, true commitment to power, truth, and justice. I truly believe that. Let's go after the truth with hard, powerful, peaceful, determined action and freeing Brian Koberger ultimately, because it's a travesty of justice what's going on right now. And look at the selfie though, my friends. It's almost hilarious, right? Look at Brian Koberger. The poor guy, you could tell he's on drugs again. He's a former heroin addict, right? He's probably on amphetamines even during the night of the atrocities. And you could tell, look how skinny he is. And he looks emaciated, especially compared to when he was arrested. And certain times after his arrest, he had gained weight. He looked a hell of a lot more healthy, even in his booking photos, than he does here. Look at this. Now, I can say as somebody who's convinced that Brian Koberger did not do the crime, I can look at this selfie, and we'll describe the details in a moment, but I can tell you there is no way that he did this crime, especially by himself. He could not have stabbed 4 people, unalive, 4 healthy individuals, no less, young people, by himself. I mean, look at he doesn't have can you just imagine how much strength, how much energy is required, everyone, and focus to be able to get away with this, to even come close. Not to mention being able to actually unalive 4 healthy victims, even though some of them were drunk, some were half drunk, some may have been fully intoxicated. It doesn't matter, my friends. And then you got 2 roommates that just happened to survive. Brian Koberger was supposed to believe, oh, he didn't want to, unalive the other 2 victims for some unknown reason. I mean, it's so crazy, everybody. This case is really fascinating on so many levels, and it's tragic on a lot of levels too, we know. But we want to free, ultimately, Brian Koberger, my friends, right? So now, let's talk about, before I tell you why I think this selfie again shows you without unequivocally Brian did not do this crime. The guilters, they look at Brian's selfie, right? And it's in his bathroom, it looks like, right? And a lot of the narrative for the longest time we know was that supposedly there was a shower curtain involved in the crime and in the cleanup, right? Probably in cleaning up, the killers would have taken their clothes off because they would have been drenched in blood, right? And they used a shower curtain after the unalivings, okay? That was one of the rumors, and it very well may be true. But guess what? It looks like the FBI cropped this picture, right? Because you do see a shower curtain just barely in the corner. So, yeah, Brian does have a shower curtain, okay? I mean, but again, the guilters want you, not focused on that. They want you to focus that, oh, look, Brian, and, some of them probably even said that he doesn't have a shower curtain, when again, it shows you, yeah, there is a shower curtain there. But they want you to focus also that he looks so creepy, You got this guilter, and he's got a great channel. He's a really good reporter normally. He goes by JLR Investigates. JLR Investigates. Feel free to check him out, of course, everyone. And he's very impartial to all the other investigations. I've followed this guy, except when it comes to Brian Koberger. Seemingly on this case, for some reason, and it's very suspicious to me, JLR, he's totally hell-bent and tells you that Brian Koberger is guilty. He doesn't even say most of the time that it's his opinion. He wants to convince the public, his thousands of followers or whatever, that Brian did this crime. And he goes by all the convenient narratives and the so-called circumstantial evidence that, that the state is putting out. But guys like JLR, my friends, he doesn't look at the drug angle. He doesn't look at the alternative suspects. He doesn't take a step back and take the blinders off. And I hope he's not getting paid off. I really don't, because he's a good reporter normally. But JLR, you got to stop your nonsense when it comes to Brian Koberger, in my opinion. So again, and JLR, by the way, my friends, like a lot of guilters, this is why I'm bringing this guy up. He says, oh, Brian looks so creepy. And he basically implies that Brian did the crime because the selfie's so creepy. And, people will talk about how his shirt's buttoned up and that they think they see a big cut or a little cut on his neck, and it goes on and on. You can look for any flaw in the selfie. Just because he even has a cut on his neck, if he does, that doesn't mean he committed the atrocity. He could have cut his neck shaving a million ways, right, everyone? And here's the other thing that really gets me. JLR didn't do this, thankfully, but other guilters have. They look at his fists, Brian's fists. And this is how outrageous their proclamation pronouncements are and observations. They think, some of them, because his fists are white, it was big knuckles, that he was just in a fight. Now, they get 1 out of 2 correct when they say that. Yes, there was a fight. We know the victims fought for their lives. We know this by the parents, some of the parents and their comments and, and other comments, and probably the coroner as well. Absolutely, these victims, these healthy victims, were fighting for their lives, okay? And absolutely, whoever the assailant or assailants, and I'm almost convinced it was more than one killer, but whoever they were, my friends, they were punching and they were fighting as well, okay? to do these unalivings, as well as, of course, unfortunately, all the stab wounds. I won't go into more carnage detail than that. So obviously, there was punches involved. Now, I bring all this up to say, my friends, again, the guilters want you to think that his fists are white, so he's in a fight. Well, guess what? It's the actual opposite. And believe me, I know this, my friends, because I'm a boxer. When you're in a fight, when you're punching, okay, even 4 hours afterwards, if you've been punching a lot, your fists are going to be red. Red. Hello. And believe me, my friends, when Brian Koberger probably got out of a shower in the selfie, it looks like, and it's 4 hours or so after the crimes, his fists would have been red if he was the assailant. And they would have been cut up, even if he's wearing gloves, my friends. Think about that. And we know one of the gloves, one of the assailants at least, lost their glove, most likely, because there was a glove out front the night of the crimes, right? And it had DNA, blood DNA, never even tested by the state. How despicable is that? Ludicrous, right? So again, everyone, Brian Koberger's fist shows you, in my opinion, he was not in a fight. And I know this again from personal experience, boxing, okay? Even though I've been off for 3 months for any training whatsoever, because I got a couple of injuries, but I'm healing them. We'll be back soon. But I digress. But seriously, everyone, this is crazy, man. The guilters say, oh, he looks creepy. Some of them say, he looks like Count Dracula. He's all white. Well, yes, he looks sick, everyone. I will concur. Brian Koberger looks sick. He looks emaciated. He looks unhealthy. He's obviously not at his ideal body weight like he has been at times in the past when he's not doing hardcore drugs. So these are some red flags when you think about Brian Koberger's night, and he doesn't have the strongest of alibis. He was driving that night, and this is all to Brian's peril, unfortunately, everyone. It just so happens, I believe, that Brian, apparently he was driving that night. He went to Wildway Park, as the defense attorneys are claiming, and I think he did, though. I really believe that, everybody, and he may have met up with somebody, okay? And we're going to find out more details on this. But please don't get confused by all the state's misinformation and misdirection and lies. Again, they want nothing more to make you think that Brian Koberger was the assailant that went into that house and did these absolutely brutal crimes. There's no way. And especially there's no way that he did it on his own, everyone. But I don't think he was involved at all. And like Jambry says, not only Brian did not do these crimes, he couldn't have done it, everybody. And I think that selfie shows it right there. Again, my friends, Brian Koberger, if he was the assailant, he would have been punching, he would have been stabbing, his fist would be very red from punching people, okay? Anyway, so I wanted to mention that, everybody, and I want you to think about this before I go today, everyone. And thank you for joining me again. I really appreciate it, everyone. And you look beautiful. And you look beautiful if it's morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Seriously, everyone. I really appreciate this because, my friends, this case, like many crime cases, it's so important to solve this case. And certainly, let's not ever let the state put somebody in prison that didn't do these, especially an atrocity like this, a quadruple murder. And by the way, everyone, I almost forgot to say, for people especially that are new to the IDAHO4, I apologize I didn't say this at the very beginning, of course, that this crime, this heinous, brutal, absolute atrocity happened on November 13th, 2022, and Brian Koberger, subsequently, this convenient narrative that I talked about in my last video, this out-of-state person. Again, Brian Koberger didn't even go to the University of Idaho, everyone. This guy that you're looking at in the selfie, who's been arrested for this crime, the state is doing everything they can seemingly to convict this guy. And, the actual trial starts in July. We've had all these hearings. We know guys like Brett Payne went on the stand for the state, one of these cops, and lied his teeth off, okay? There's a lot of corruption going on, my friends. And again, it goes back to, what was I going to say? Oh, Brian Koberger, my friends, he was arrested on November 30th, 2022 at his parents' house in Pennsylvania. And as I said in the last video, my friend, it's all part of the convenient narrative. They want you to buy into this hideous psyop, to brainwash you and make you think of this go by this convenient narrative that it just so happens that Brian Koberger didn't even go to the University of Idaho. I think he went to, Northwestern University. So anyway, he didn't go to the University of Idaho, lives mostly at his parents' and sometimes in off-campus residence. They want you to think that he did the crime, everybody. He didn't even go to the University of Idaho. But how convenient for elements of law enforcement, elements of the FBI, elements of the university establishment, the drug task force, all the corrupt people there in Moscow, Idaho, the ones that are corrupt. How convenient for them, isn't it? Follow the money, my friends. Please follow the money. We'll talk more about this in future videos. But this case, and I think a lot of YouTubers that have been following this, a lot of you already are aware of this, I am sure, like a Jay Embry and so many more. This case isn't even so much about justice, not from the point of view, at least from the prosecutors of the state and the university establishment. No, they're not about justice as so much as they are about protecting big interests and self-interests, and very powerful interests at that, my friends. Follow the money. Again, seemingly, my friends, the university establishment, elements, FBI, and the cops in Moscow, Idaho, they're trying to protect their asses. They're trying to shift your focus away. Instead of protecting, again, an innocent man like Brian Koberger, they're trying to set, I believe, a Brian Koberger up. It's all a cover-up, huge cover-up, my friends, because they don't want you to pay attention to the big system of federal money, for example, that's coming in, and RICO money. And they certainly also do not want you focused on some of the drug investigations that are going on, everyone. And again, the skimming of money, a lot of corruption, and some legitimate investigations into the gangs, for example. But again, my friends, they don't want you really to talk about the gangs, because this was a controlled gang hit. I'm telling you, everyone. I know I'm getting digressing off actual Brian Koberger's selfie for a moment, but my friends, this is the big picture. Like I said in my last video, and we'll talk more about it, I believe this was a controlled gang hit. Brian Koberger did not do these crimes. And again, this evidence that largely the state is trying to flip on you, they're trying to repeat over and over again, and all the guilters out there, they're trying to say over and over again, look, Brian looks so creepy, right? He looks like Count Dracula. He had to have did these crimes. Look at his fists. Oh, his shirt. He may have a cut on his neck. Oh, and they, mainstream media and some of the guilters, they'll zoom on his hands and they'll zoom on the cracks of his hands and try to convince you that, oh, his hands got these cuts. He must have been in a fight and unalive these 4 people. No, my friends, it's horse shit. It's absolutely baloney. I just told you, my friends, if Brian Koberger punched these victims out, and I'm not going to laugh when I say that, but seriously, his fist would be red, okay? But it's so ludicrous the way these guilters talk. You almost have to laugh. It's so pathetic. And the state. So please don't buy into that nonsense, my friends. And we could talk for weeks on this case, my friends, and we will. I'll be doing future videos, hopefully on the IDAHO4, God willing. So thank you for listening, everybody. Again, our hearts go out to these victims of the IDAHO4, these beautiful, young, vivacious, intelligent students that had so much potential. And a lot of us are still trying to figure out why. Why did this happen? And all the guilters, they all have to admit there is no motive. Again, my friends, as I repeated in the last video over and over again, but it's so important. The prosecution even had to admit there's no link, no identifiable link of Brian Koberger to the victims, nor to the family, nor to the residents, and really not even the community. Again, he didn't even go to the University of Idaho, but that's part of the convenient narrative. And again, finding conveniently, they claim they found this touch DNA, right, on the snap of a knife sheath. It's horse shit, my friends. It's not Brian Koberger's touch DNA. It's all planted, probably nonsense. Certainly not Brian Koberger's, in my opinion. Again, my opinions, but the facts back it up largely in this case, everybody. You can agree to disagree with me, though. Feel free to leave me a comments, everybody. Again, hope you subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, give me that thumbs up and hit that bell icon to be notified for future videos. Excuse me. And thank you. You look amazing, by the way, as I said earlier. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Oh, by the way, I would love to conglomerate with some of you amazing YouTubers, creative content creators. again, I really admire Jay Embry's amazing work on this case. He's been at it for a long time, putting out 2 videos a day like other YouTubers at times. Jay, if you ever want to stop going solo for a change and occasionally do a live with somebody else, I would be honored if you invite me on. A.R. Hayes, basically the same sentiments to you, buddy, and the same challenge, or respectfully asking you, invite me on, dude. I'd love to do a live with you and some of your friends and guests. He's got a great channel, everybody. Please subscribe to Jay Embry and A.R. Hayes, perhaps, if you check them out. Also, big shout out to Murder Metal Mayhem. He does great work often on the IDAHO4. He also conglomerates with people like A.R. Hayes. Unfiltered Lucky, another super channel doing super great work on the IDAHO4 largely. Uses a lot of reason, logic, common sense, as he likes to say. Unfiltered Lucky, if you want to conglomerate with me on a live and join together our thoughts, again, I'd be honored. And A.R. Hayes. Also, big shout out to, I think it's Crime Design. They're doing super work. Of course, also, I believe it's Corey. Check his channel. It's called Thou Shall Not Kill, True Crime. I hope I haven't butchered his name. I know he's Puerto Rican. He's a really bright young guy, and he's very passionate about this case as well. Doing super work, has numerous guests on lives. I would love to participate if he'd be so gracious as to have me on. Again, guys and gals, I think you'll find I have something hopefully positive to contribute. If you check my videos out, hopefully you concur. So thank you so much. And there's many, many other YouTubers doing amazing work. And I'll give you credos or give you credit on future videos there and name you. But the guilters like JLR Investigates and Daniel from Drunk Turkey Show. Daniel's a buddy of mine. I said in the last video, everybody, he invited me on before to talk about UFOs. I know a whole different subject. We had a blast. But Daniel's another guilter. He's convinced that Brian Koberger did this crime. And he probably also looked at this selfie, and it probably somehow in his mind, because I think he's got the blinders on, somehow it probably further just cemented his beliefs that Brian Koberger did this crime. Well, guess what, Daniel? You're an ex-cop. You should know better than anybody, or just as good as any boxer, that your fists are red, even 4 hours after crime, even coming out of a shower. If you've been fighting like crazy with 4 healthy victims, trying to unalive them and stab them to death and fighting, your fists are going to be red, man. Both of them. Not white. Not white. No way. So there you go, my friends. Oh, and guilters, by the way, they'll say, some of them even go so far as to say that Brian dyed his hair. They think possibly because the balaclava was so soaked in red that he may have dyed his hair to get rid of the blood. Daniel from the Drunk Turkey Show, I think, went so far as to saying something like that. Come on, Daniel, buddy. Careful, dude. Take a step back and look at the gangs in Moscow, Idaho, especially the Aryan family and Aryan Knights. Hint, hint. I think some of them were involved. We'll talk more about that hopefully in future videos, my friends. Thank you for listening, everyone. Really appreciate your time today. Till next time. Bye-bye. This is ESTEY'S Crime Maze. Jason, see ya.